Yep.
Okay guys, I had someone ask for a video on how I remove the IHS on the CPU side. So here I'm going to show you. It's another one of my secrets. Now the BGA scraper that I used in the other video, what I've done here is I've made my own tool, and if anybody would like to copy my tool, they're more than welcome to do so. Basically what I did is I grinded this thing on the concrete. So I literally took it outside and I went like this, I flipped it back over, I went like this until I got it as thin as possible, and then if you know anything about knife sharpening, you just slide down like that to get a fine tip on it. So what I have is a blade, but it's not just a blade. What I have is it has tension on it, so it'll push up. Now the thing about cutting this this paste is you want to cut the silicone that straps it to the chip, but not cut into the chip. If you cut into this chip and you destroy the chip, you just destroyed the entire PlayStation. This CPU is linked to the board. It has to match the board, and it'll be impossible. So take into consideration that when you do this, you should do this if you absolutely have to, and keep in mind and be aware that you can mess up once in a while and damage the CPU. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start on a corner, and I'm going to push in. Now what I want you to see is that I'm pushing underneath the chip to where I can feel what's up against the silicone, but I'm actually pushing down on it, and that way it's pushing up into the chip. So we're going to start on a corner here, and you'll feel it kind of grab in. You don't want to force it. You don't want to cut the chip. So, by the way, this is a scrap board I just pulled out of the pile, so I keep these around for such an occasion that I may need to take a part off of it. So I'm just going to push in there, and you'll feel it go in. Don't go too deep, and we'll just keep going down the line until we get some leeway here. I'm not trying to move it back and forth or up and down, starting like that. And then we'll move on to the next side. So now it's starting to come up. I've seen other videos where people use a razor blade. I played around with some of those techniques, and I wasn't happy with the outcome. You're taking a very high risk of cutting the chip. This technique with this tool that I made, you're still taking a risk no matter what you do, but it's a much less of a risk. So just going to continue on here. Okay, now I'm actually sliding it under this side. This is the last side, and now we got some leverage here, and we're just going to pull it up and off. And there you go. Now we have removed the IHS, and you can go ahead and replace your thermal paste. Like I said, just one more time, you can damage the chip if you don't do this properly. You will have a brick for a PlayStation if you damage and cut into the chip. And making sure you have a very sharp tip, and see how it's going up. You want the spring load to be pushing up against here. And yeah, you don't have to glue it back on or anything like that. Just keep it centered, put a layer of thermal paste to hold it on, and put it back together. So thanks for watching, guys.